What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Pitchside with Parker. Happy Friday, everybody. Congrats on making it to the end of the week. But we're back with another Friday video. If you were here last week, it's gonna be the same thing basically. I'm gonna go through all the best games to watch this weekend, where you can find those games, and just what to tune into. And we'll just have a little look ahead at the weekend. I'll talk about and preview the games a little bit as we go as well. And yeah, just kind of get ourselves amped up and excited for the weekend, and also just relax and chill out on a Friday for a little while. I hope that that's how you feel when you watch these videos. You can kind of just enjoy it, and we can get the weekend started and start looking forward to more soccer. Yeah, let's get into it. So starting with the earliest time slot on Saturday, if you are one who likes to get up early, Burnley and Arsenal is the only offering this weekend. There aren't many good games around the other leagues early in the morning either, and so yeah, this is kind of slim pickings, and I certainly would not advise anybody to wake up early for this. You definitely will not regret missing this one. And hey, if you do want to know what's going to happen, I will be waking up, I will be watching this game, and I'll be making a match review because it is Arsenal. So if you're really intent on finding out what happens, I would still say sleep in and just watch my video afterwards. But a big chance in any case for Arsenal to get some revenge on Burnley after what was probably the most embarrassing loss in a very embarrassing season so far for Arsenal. And I would like nothing more than to get a little payback on them, but it's probably going to be a tough game away at Turf Moor. And yeah, I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. So then the mid-morning Saturday slot, there are a few good games that you could keep your eye on, but the one I'm going for is Mönchengladbach versus Leverkusen. Now last week, I picked Gladbach against Leipzig, and that turned out to be the game of the week. And I'm telling you, Bundesliga is a very fun league to watch, and I think this shapes up to be a good game as well. These are two teams that had very high hopes coming into the season, have not quite performed up to those standards, but in any case, they are both very entertaining teams to watch. And this is another one of those fixtures that when they come together, it's often a good game, it's often a high-scoring game. And both these teams are going to be fighting to claw their way back towards European spots. I'm pretty sure Leverkusen are in 6th right now, and Gladbach are in 9th, but it's super bunched up. So it would be an important 3 points for both teams. I think it should be a pretty entertaining game, and that will be on 9:30 Eastern time on ESPN+. And then for the big primetime action on Saturday, 12:30 Eastern time, we're staying in the Bundesliga for none other than Der KLASSIKER. Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. I mean, it's the biggest game in Germany the past few years, and although Dortmund are not in title contention this year, this does not have the same significance as it has had in the past couple of seasons. This is another one of those games that is just always good. It's always a spectacle. And what's cool to note about this game as well is that it's actually going to be on ABC in the US. So this is at 12:30 Eastern time, ABC, major network television carrying a big soccer game. That to me is very exciting. NBC does it from time to time with the Premier League. I do miss the days where there was a game every single weekend, at least on NBC, but you just don't see this very often. The only time you really ever see games on the 4 big broadcasting networks is like maybe Fox when there's a big USA game, but that's only in the major tournaments usually. And then, I mean, even CBS had the rights to the Champions League last year, and the final wasn't even on CBS proper. We hardly see games on NBC anymore, and this is the first time I can remember seeing a game on ABC, probably since ESPN had rights to the World Cup. So this is kind of a big deal, and it'll be really interesting to see how the ratings shake out. But I would say definitely watch this game. Should be exciting. It's 2 exciting teams, and as I've said in a few videos before, it's just always a good choice to watch Dortmund, because whether they go down in a blaze of glory or they perform at their best level, it's very exciting to watch no matter what. So can't wait for this one on Saturday. Then in the late afternoon slot, 2:45 p.m. on ESPN+, we're going to go over to Italy for Juventus versus Lazio. This is just the best matchup during that time slot. There's not really a whole lot of great games in the late afternoon, but if you're a late riser or you got some stuff to do in the morning, this one is definitely worth checking out. Juve in prime time, I mean, definitely always worth watching. And Serie A is still super tight as well. Juventus could still make a late challenge. Inter is out front, but AC Milan is right there as well. And also, before we leave the topic of Juventus, shout out to Weston McKennie for signing that permanent deal as well. He is one of the main reasons that when I turn on Juve, he's the one I'm watching for most of the time. Him and Kulusevski. And I know there's a big name I didn't say there, but I'm just not that crazy of a fan of Ronaldo, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. Don't kill me, okay? But Kulusevski is my young Swedish guy. If y'all didn't know, I love the Swedish national team. That's my team. So I love what Kulusevski is doing with them. And of course, I mean, Weston McKennie, you got to support the young American guy thriving over there in Turin. So shout out to him for signing that long-term deal. Very well deserved and a smart move, I think, from Juve to keep him on board, because I think it was like 22, 25 million, something in that range. That's a really good deal for them. And as you will know from one of my most recent videos, Schalke definitely need the money. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, that is Saturday covered, and so we'll talk about the games for Sunday as well. So I've adjusted the schedule slightly for Sunday morning because there isn't much going on super early, but there are two games kind of in the mid-morning slot that don't overlap with each other too much, and I'm going to talk about both of them. The first of which is a WSL tie between Man City and Everton. I mentioned Everton last week. They played Spurs as one of my games to watch. They got a win in that one, and they'll come up against City this week. With all due respect to Manchester United, it's a two-team title race between Man City and Chelsea right now. Chelsea put in a great performance midweek against Atletico Madrid in the Women's Champions League, and so they are in the best form of any team right now, and City have to keep up with that. But this is one of those games that can be a real stumbling block because Everton are a really, really good side as well this year. They did win that last game and got back on the right foot. It has the potential to be a trap game for City. They need to come out with a strong performance in order to keep pace with Chelsea and keep putting that pressure on, because if they stumbled, that could be yet another chance for Chelsea to kind of start pulling away if possible. And Chelsea also play West Ham this weekend, but I expect that to be slightly more routine for them than this game. So that's why I put City and Everton on the calendar. And you can watch that at 9 o'clock Eastern on the FA Player. All the WSL games pretty much kick off at 9, and they're pretty much all available on there. So then the other interesting mid-morning game kicks off at 10:15, so there's a nice stagger there, and they won't overlap too much, and that is the Madrid derby. Of course, a huge, huge game in La Liga. Atletico are still way out in front, but if Real Madrid were to win this game, which would have meant they've won both games against Atletico this season, it would maybe just start to pull Atleti back in that title race a little bit. They're still out in front, they've still got games in hand, but as you saw last week in the Champions League against Chelsea, they've been slightly underwhelming in their form recently, and I think they've just let that focus go a little bit ever since taking such a huge lead at kind of that winter break. And Madrid have actually been on pretty good form ever since they did beat Atletico. So this should be an interesting one. And if Madrid were to pull something off here, it could make La Liga a little more interesting heading down the stretch. And besides that, of course, it's just a huge game. It's a huge derby. It's a huge rivalry. For that reason alone, certainly a must-watch this weekend. That game is at 10:15 Eastern kickoff and is on beIN Sports. And then just an hour and 15 minutes later, man, the stagger is so good on Sunday morning. I mean, it is going to be a feast of football. And I'm already excited for it. But at 11:30, Man City versus Manchester United. Now, as I talked about last week, I told y'all there was not a lot to be excited about in terms of Man United playing Chelsea, because that was obviously going to be a boring game. We know how United approach these games, and they're going to try to do it again versus Man City. So again, I wouldn't expect this to be a thriller, but just the drama of this game is enticing to me. Because what I think will happen, my best guess, is that City are just going to go for the jugular, because if they win this game, that is a statement that nobody's catching us. United are in second place and they're kind of wobbling, and this is a chance for City to throw that knockout punch, put them down, and just say, look, nobody's catching us this year. Sorry, it's done, it's dusted, y'all are not catching us, we're the better team in Manchester. I mean, the potential to make that statement in a game is exciting. Like, those are the type of games you live for as a player, and that's what all the City players are going to be looking forward to. And the last thing that United wants is to get that blow from their direct rivals in City. So I think the tension and the stakes of this game will feel very real once it kicks off. Even if United are trying to be a little bit pessimistic as they have in the big games, it's going to kick off during the game. And I think that this one could be really, really exciting. If not from a play standpoint, if so, at least from a drama standpoint. So that game kicks off 11:30 Eastern time, and it is on NBC Sports. It's not on Peacock, so that is good news. And then finally, the late game slot on Sunday afternoon. Look, I said this last week. I will stay as real as possible with y'all. When there is not an interesting game to watch, I will be straight up about it. And for me, the late Sunday slot has got to be nap time this week. That back-to-back of the 3 games in the morning, I feel like it'll catch up to me by this point once that City United game ends. And yeah, I'll probably be down for the count. Like, as obsessed as I am, even I have trouble going 4 back-to-back games in a row. So yeah, I think for me, for this one, late game would probably be nap time. But that does it for the weekend, man. Some great games coming up this weekend. We got a Manchester derby, we got a Madrid derby, and we got their KLASSIKER all coming up this weekend, which is very exciting. The Arsenal games I'm going to have to watch, I'm not terribly excited about. When he got Burnley for the men's and Birmingham City for the women's, both early in the morning. Tough scenes. But in any case, I will be fed by the rest of the football, and that is something to look forward to. And that's what this video is all about. So I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I hope that y'all are ready for a good weekend of games. Now, I don't think I'm going to stream this weekend. I just do need a little bit of time off. I've been doing a lot of stuff for my birthday, and yeah, it's just been exhausting. And that stream took a lot out of me last week. So I think I'm gonna hold off on it for this week, but I might try to get back to it next week, maybe after Champions League even. So stay tuned for that for sure. I will have some Arsenal reviews for you this weekend, and thank you so much to everybody who's been rocking with me, who's been checking out the videos every day. You know, it takes a lot of effort to continue doing this daily content and keep putting something out every single day. But when I see the support, when I see y'all in the comments, when I see y'all liking the videos, it really means a lot to me. And I just can't thank you enough for the people who have been around. If you're somebody that's still watching at the end of this video, you are certainly one of those people, and I really appreciate you for it. So I hadn't said it in a while. I had to say that for sure. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thanks for checking the video out, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.